Welcome back to our channel, my dear family and friends. So nice to see you on this Sunday evening. I even knew what day it was, sort of. I had to think about it. It's not obvious to me anymore. We just go with it. We're uh we're at 4,500 feet. What else can you say? I mean, there are people who live at higher elevations. It's a little colder up there. So I'm very happy to be at the elevation that we're at, but consciousness wise, it's pleasant to be up here. I want to talk about tonight. I mean, I think this is where there's some really the 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 news. I mean, the what would qualify to be called news, meaning things that seem to be happening in this moment that are new. Vasnias, yeah, there's a um the, the news the news is not really new to us. Hi, Peppermint Patty. Haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? Uh, so the news isn't by itself the idea of the news, like something that is currently active, a story that's currently active, except perhaps everything. I mean, there are lots of contradictions. It- what I want to focus on tonight is again fusion energy with DJT, Elon's PayPal thing that that it's this huge quiet transfer of power. The the noise that the silence makes. Maybe keeping strong. Yeah, good. From Washington State. Are you guys like it? It sounds like the whole state is flooded. I mean, I don't know that the reporting is not very active. The world has been completely transformed. I mean, if you're waiting for things to change, you may not have the ability to really see change. Keeping strong, great. The banks are collapsing. The economy is collapsing. The society has, it seemed to me, has already collapsed. We know who the bad guys are. We see the chemtrails. The collapse is happening quietly. It's what we would call a soft rollout. But this, make no mistake, this is a transformative moment that goes beyond anything that I can comprehend. The old way is being completely obliterated piece by piece. And the new way is quietly being unveiled beneath the surface. It's nothing. There are a lot of noisy characters right now. There's a lot of blackpilling. There's a lot of desperate measures and people waking up and saying, look what they're doing. It's like, well, we've been seeing what they've been doing for 8 or 9 years already, at least. But to a lot of people, it's new, and that's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful that people are waking up. Your rivers are overflowing north of you. Interesting. Mommy Wolverine, I like that. What impresses me in this moment, and I'm just gonna I'm kind of feeding off again war correspondent Daniel R, Guardian Daniel R a bit, but I'm see the I mean just okay. I'm trying to stay calm, but it's too much for words. When does a media company, relatively failing a media company that's not hasn't been doing that well in terms of their stocks, went from $20 to, I'm talking about DJT stock, $20. In the beginning, it went up to $60. It was like $60 when I first discovered it, and I was like, I can't. I can't. $60 is way more than I would pay for an asset, except maybe Quant. I do have a few shares of a few coins of Quant, but when does a controversial media company, a I don't know, I don't want to say size, but not a horribly successful media company, Truth Social basically, start talking about nuclear fusion and pointing their company in the way of, this is this is like warp speed. This is out of the box, in my opinion, that it's worth noting. So too, the BRICS nations basically dumping all their U.S. Bonds or notes. The Fed suddenly printing billions of dollars of cash. Yeah,
Trump's gonna make a major announcement
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and
What period head south?
Trump's going to make a major announcement tomorrow. Now, usually this means he's going to talk about pharmaceutical companies, which I'm just like, this is a major announcement? Well, hell yes, it is. What he's showing, what he's doing is saying it's gone. The whole medical establishment is gone. It's history. It's toast. Anybody who has any consciousness, I mean, I still go into the stores and they're offering free vaccines. I'm just like, what? But anybody who's been choosing to understand what's really going on knows that the medical establishment will never return. They're done. They're toast. Ivermectin, fenbendazole, is it menbendazole? I can't. Fenbendazole, right? Yeah. I mean, that breast cancer is they're never coming back. The banks are never coming back the way they were. The mortgages will never come back, in my opinion. The government will never come back the way it was. It will be, according to Gisara, and we're seeing it unrolled before our very eyes, will be 10% of the size it is now. The legal system, this illicit legal system, will never return, ever. It will be replaced by divine law, by constitutional law. Whether you're aware of it or not, and I know a lot of people want to hear the cymbals crashing and the drum roll, and that's old school. That's back in the day. Back in the day, the story of the day was the headline of the New York Times, and that was what was really going on in the world, supposedly. Now we know it was just, it was a psyop. But today, there is no New York Times. There is no, dominant publication of record. That's long gone. Thanks to social media, thanks to the internet, thanks to, according to the one report I heard years ago, that Majestic 12 gave us the internet because they finally decided to do the right thing. But the crash of some right, silver's at 69 now. Silver's going to the moon. This is a complete collapse of the evil empire. It is collapsing. Every part of it. Trump coming out with a big announcement about that pharmaceuticals will be cheap. Well, they always should have been cheap because they're of questionable value. They're talking about vaccines, all these things. It's over. It's done. But it's a quiet death. It's not, they're not 100 people at the deathbed taking turns to say goodbye to the king. This is a quiet event. No, most people are completely unaware of what's going on right now. This is the death of the evil empire. It's happening quietly. It's they're the last remnants, I believe, are the chemtrails. They're still trying to hold on to whatever they can, but it's there's no way they can merge with TA. They won't break ground for 10 years. Very exciting stuff. MGT merged with TAE. You'll have to spell that out. I don't know what either of those are. Rob G, 33. So yeah, just let us know. But this Elon, they were saying Elon wanted to start, he wanted PayPal to take over the financial system, but he realized it wasn't time. This was back in, I don't know, 2000, whenever it started, 2010, 2008, I don't know. And I remember maybe 5 to 10 years ago listening to my favorite podcaster, which was this digital asset investor, saying that is it just coincidence that XRP starts with an X? This was before Twitter became X. This magnificent plan to transform our existence was it was just quiet. It was I'm trying to think of the SEC, the guy, Fish Face, whatever his name is. The guy who he looked like somebody I went to high school with. I probably did. Probably he was in my class. He was probably a nerd, but the guy I'm talking about. The guy who came up with the lawsuit he against XRP. I mean, this was just out of the box insane. And now, a few years later, but we knew this was coming. We all knew this from Q. We knew it from social media. We knew that the collapse was coming, but we expected it to go out with a big roar and a big, like the stake into the vampire's heart at night. Jay Clayton. Yeah, Jay Clayton and his hench Gary Gensler, right? Gary's like, I'm like, you little nerd, man. I mean, if you were in my high school class, you probably were. But he probably was. I never met him because he was such a nerd. What a jerk. But was this an act? Was it all? It was loud then. It was loud. They were loud. Hollywood was loud. Bruce Springsteen was beating his chest. I mean, I consider Bruce Springsteen to be like the, well, I don't, I'm trying to make a comeback on YouTube. They're deciding whether or not I'm worthy to be monetized. And I'm thinking to myself, it's much better for me not to monetize so I can continue to broadcast on YouTube and not have to worry about censorship. I mean, I can make a little money from LifeWave. It's not worth it for me to go against the enemy head on. I mean, they've canceled me for years. I lost my job. I lost, I lost it all in that sense, and yet I gained it all. How long can they suppress XRP? That's a very good question. I think right, that's the question. Well, if they have unlimited amounts of cash, right? They have unlimited amounts of cash. So they can suppress XRP until the cash has no value, which it's losing its value day by day. It's not that silver is worth so much more. It's just that fiat currency is worth so little. And as they continue to print themselves into oblivion, their currency will just it'll disappear, and it'll be a no-brainer as everyone there'll be a massive push into crypto assets, into silver and gold. You can't, it's getting harder and harder to even buy silver now, even if you have the money. I remember, I bought 2 ounces recently, and everything was sold out except for the Silver Eagles, which you pay a little more for. We're not paying the EU, DJT taking over America as it should be. Thanks. Yeah, you're right. But it's so much deeper than that. It's like the whole criminal organization is crashing big time, crashing into the sea without a whimper, without without the sum of all fears, without a nuclear explosion, without 9/11 happening again. Nothing, none of that. They're out of gas. This is absolute evil. Absolute, like Venezuela. They're just it's not even the libs can't come out and beat their chests and say, "Oh, you're violating our rights." It's like, screw that, man. You're a criminal, you're a gangster organization, you're a terrorist organization, and we're taking your ships. That's it. Quietly, without huge protests, without George Soros turning over in the grave and summoning his flatulent troops to beat their chests in public for $50 a night or whatever he pays them. It's over. One door closing means you get another door until you find the one. Thank you, appreciate. Yeah, but it's happening quietly. It's just okay. So here's a parallel for us. We just got our well connected. We have water. We live in the middle of the desert. I mean, we live miles away from people, and we have a well now. The well was hooked up yesterday, and yet to me, and this is like kind of like we've been waiting for a year to get a well. We had to go through all these different things. We had to get a space plowed out. The well guy wouldn't even come up here. He said, "I'm not even coming up here." And he said, "You have to talk to Norm. He's the only one that can fix it." So I talked to Norm, and Norm. It turns out Norm is like my guardian angel. But Norm came out and he knocked out a flat space. We tricked. I didn't do it consciously, but I basically tricked I just told the well digger. I said, "Just follow me. We'll go up the road. Just follow me." So he didn't realize how bad my road is, and he followed me up the road. When he got to the top of where I live now, he said, "I never. If I had gone up here before with a smaller truck, I never would have taken this job." It was miracle after miracle. But anyway, after a year of waiting, and we finally got the well. Well, it just happened after all this waiting. It's happened quietly. I need to get a few gizmos to get it all hooked up, and where Daniela has started putting in the posts, the cedar posts that we're going to put around the well to make a little well house. It's quiet. It's a quiet transition, but it is huge. So too in the world. You're going from a criminal organization that ran every aspect of your life. You couldn't buy a car without going into a deep doggy debt. I mean, you couldn't operate without their permission, without their license, without their rulings. By the way, the Supreme Court threw out my case against the Department of Education in New York City. So we're hoping to get paid by some other, but it's just like, these are criminals, man. They're running the justice, but that's changing. They're not getting away with it. They are being transformed as we speak. The world is being transformed, and as evidence is, a little media company starts to do nuclear fusion. Are you kidding me? And like the digital asset investor said, you think that XRP and XLM might be connected to Starlink, that they're going to run the whole financial system off planet from satellites, you think? And he was showing us the logos. The logos matched up. And then Elon comes and renames Twitter X and Starlink and sweet water. Yeah, so I tasted one little sip. As far as I'm concerned, man, it's my water. It's the best water in the world. I know I've known other people that own wells. It's just there's a chauvinism about your water that Danielle is already planning all kinds of filtration things. I'm just like, just give me my friggin' water, man. 800 feet. It comes up from it comes actually from like maybe 600 feet down. You think it's going to be good tasting? It certainly costs enough. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much. It's just, but this is the world. The world is about to taste sweet water because the vampire cabal is losing. They've lost it. I think they've already lost it. But okay, so let me go to this post by Daniel R. Well, so let's start with this. Beautiful black swan, right? The black swan with the arrow go, the market going down and then going up. Okay, so let's read what Daniel R has to say. The control layers are being disconnected. Just let that filter into your mind for a minute. The control layers are being disconnected. What is unfolding now is the quiet. This is where I get the idea of quiet. The quiet separation of power from paperwork. Systems that once relied on signatures, registrations, and institutional approval are being forced to verify something they can't fake anymore. The living beneficiary behind the record. They can't hide behind their obtuse rules and regulations. They can't pull it off anymore. This is why legacy platforms are slowing down, freezing, or issuing vague maintenance notices. They are losing authority at the validation level. When a system can no longer confirm ownership through its old channels, it stalls. That stall is not a glitch, it's a safeguard activating. Behind closed doors, compliance teams are being ordered to reconcile records that were never meant to be reconciled. Trusts without disclosure, accounts without beneficiaries, like all the Social Security, checks going out to dead people, liabilities created without consent. These contradictions cannot survive direct verification. And that's exactly what's happening now with Doge, with everything. The most important shift is psychological. People were trained to ask permission to access what was already theirs. I'm going to read that again and just focus on this thought. Daniel Ars writes beautiful prose. I love his prose, but he says people were trained. We were trained to ask permission for what was already ours. That mindset is dissolving. The new structure does not ask who approved you. It asks who you are. Once that answer is verified, the rest is procedural. Expect more silence from institutions that used to speak loudly. Expect more contradictions in official explanations. Expect sudden policy changes that seemed unplanned. They are not unplanned. They are responses to control layers being removed one by one. This phase is not about announcements. It's about detachment. Detachment of false authority from real value. I'm going to read that again. Detachment of fake authority from value. That's what we've been talking about in terms of like XRP versus Bitcoin, or XRP or the ISO 200 coins versus fiat currency. Detachment of false authority from real value. The straw man is fading. The living holder is being recognized, and systems built on illusion are running out of places to hide. Beautiful, Daniel, man. I totally dig it. I totally dig that. It was transcendent. It's like everything in your life. The policeman pulls you over for a speeding ticket. You're like, what authority do you have to give me a ticket? And I'm not going to pay it anyway because it's illicit. The 5, 10, 15, 20, $50,000 that the hospital charges you for a procedure, you're suddenly asking yourself, WTF? You really think I'm going to pay that? You scammers, after you destroyed my, it's we're coming into an age of value. So the question is, when will XRP surface? When will the ISO 222 coins go to the moon? I don't know. I'm shocked that XRP didn't go to the moon 5 years ago. It has intrinsic value. People were saying yesterday, is it going to be backed by gold? I don't think it needs to be. I think it has intrinsic value. It does something. It has a purpose. 99.9% of what the government dishes out as essential bits of knowledge are basically so much gas. It's just so much gas. And gas, even gas. They call it fossil fuel because they want you to think it's rare. It's not rare, it's plentiful and it replenishes. But we're going to be moving so far beyond petrochemicals, beyond petrochemical backed medicine. Fusion. Fusion is what takes place in the sun. It is a natural process. I'm going to play you this clip. Did you know it has begun? Look up. Yeah. Is this specifically for Christians and not for Jewish people? Great info today. Thank you. Canadians want USA, not the king. Right. The Canadians, man. I mean, all these European countries that are all rising up, one country after another. There wouldn't be a government buyback if it didn't have value. The banks will need it for transactions. I don't know about that, Mindy. I don't know about this buyback. I think that's we've been telling each other stories like this. I don't know. Maybe they'll buy it, but it's the whole, I know that I understand the mindset of somebody who's heavily involved in the thought of XRP saving the world, because I'm a recovering XRP addict. I had a lot of XRP before I got scammed. I mean, a ridiculous amount. But that's not the point. The point is that there's a certain mindset to people who are going through a kind of an XRP stage. And I honor that because I've been there, but I'm not in, it doesn't hold me anymore. It doesn't make the long, it's not going to be with me in my, 10-day camping trip. By the end, I'm just going to be, it's just going to be, heck, I've been doing a year and a half long camping trip, and it just gets better and better. It just gets better and better. Who among us Jewish, but who worships the Jewish Messiah? I listen. You know what? You're gonna have to you go somewhere else. I'm just not interested in your bullshit. Um, yeah, just go away. The Messiah, the real. That's a mindset. That's a kind of a. There's a, people fall into these like mind traps, but there's a world beyond the concrete little rooms and houses that people want to like sit inside of and feel very comfortable. Thanks, Merry Christmas. I appreciate it. When the banks collapse, echo people. Yeah, but this kind of thinking is just it's three-dimensional, that the one thing is going to happen, cause and effect. It's so much big. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not that. That's what everyone expects. The trumpet XRP is going to take over the world. The banks have officially, it's head of this front page of the New York Times. The world has been transformed. Fiat is dead. XRP is, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to. EBS has come. We finally understand. That's that's a that that whole mindset is gone. We don't live in that world anymore. We live in a transformative, like in a consciousness that is forever changing. This is the key to it. Okay, I'm watching this really gruesome thing on Netflix with Daniela. It's called Prison Break. I spend half the time like this. I'm like, Daniela, tell me when it's over. But the truth of the matter is, what do I find so fascinating about it? One, the real bad guy is the government. They're the ones who force all these characters into these weird situations. And two, the nature of narration has changed. Okay, well, just hear me out on this. Years ago, I decided to actually I it took me 8 years to graduate college because I kept dropping. I kept having nervous breakdowns, and I was on drugs. I mean, I couldn't, I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the I just but that's a separate thing. But what was I going to that oh, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. But let me just let me just go back to this, that the nature of reality, right, has changed. Why am I saying this about college? I forgot anyway, it doesn't matter. It probably doesn't matter. It was great to meet you. Yeah. Um, cool. You make me laugh. Okay, so here we go. This transformation, it's not the way we've been brought up. it's not going to happen like that. It is not trumpets announcing. I mean, if you look, you follow President Trump when he has a major announcement, he doesn't make a major announcement. He parades a bunch of buffoons called Big Pharma in front of the camera and says, we're fucking you, man. You're out. We're taking all your money, all your gravy trains. It's done. You're done. He doesn't just come out and say it like that. He doesn't have to because it's show, not tell. But oh, I know what I was talking about. Okay. So years ago, I actually wrote for one of my English classes. I took a lot of English. I loved the arts, but I was basically I was I was sort of like pre-med science, but I ended up a chemistry teacher, whatever. But I wrote this paper calling characters, saying that characters were kinetic, which means that meant to me, and I don't, it meant to me that you're always my aunt was always doing my aunt things. My other aunt was always doing hippie aunt things. In other words, in the old days, people didn't change. They might have changed. They were wearing bell bottoms and they weren't, they didn't go to church or what those kinds of things, just external changes. But in those days, I wrote this paper about kinetic characters, and I think I was referring to, gosh, I can't even remember. It was like old English novels. I can't remember which novel I was writing about. But in this novel, the character Joe was always doing Joe things. Right, Daniela?
Right.
We have this joke because we met this guy named Joe. We were driving on the highway I-40, and we saw this guy driving in the stretch between the two highways, and we're like, I wonder what's up with that. What's so we're like sort of saying, well, he's kind of off roading between the roads, and then we pulled over at this place called Jolly Road, which is in the middle of nowhere on I-40, going between Kingman and Flagstaff. And we pulled over to, do our thing, and suddenly we heard a crash. It was this guy. This guy drove his Jeep into like a slowly, it's like in slow motion, like he was this guy was off-roading. Maybe he had been vaccinated and he was just finally catching up with him, I don't know. But he hit this thing and then he fell out of his car. He was okay, but we found out his name was Joe, and he was just totally disoriented. So in the old days, characters always performed like the Dickens characters. They were always doing whatever. Fagin was always doing Fagin stuff. David Copperfield was always getting, hurt. Everybody was always doing their own thing. The characters in this Prison Break are like more modern characters. They change. They change over time. They still have their kind of essential things, but they actually evolve. They change. And that's really the bottom line to what is happening. So if you're in a place like, well, it's all about XRP, or it's all about the chemtrails, or it's all about this evil, whatever it is, if you're in one place, it's not as easy for you to morph like me, man. I mean, this channel, I started out as like, I wanted to share Hasidus with people. I wanted to share Kabbalah with people. I had a little yarmulke, I had my short hair, and I was like, I was quoting, because I was in the community and I thought I knew something, and and then things happened to me. COVID came along and I lost my job, and I lost my, and then I started broadcasting. I became like, pretty successful on YouTube. And then that went away and they canceled me forever. They're still probably trying to, but whatever. but in what is so interesting about this kind of modern drama, you still have the evil government, the evil CIA, the absolute consummate evil, the evil politicians pulling the strings and destroying these various people. But they change. And that is what this is all about. It is about accepting the fact that you are never going to be like you were in the old days, where like me, I was a Hasidic, for 25 years. I went to shul, the same shul. I sat in the same seat. I sat next to the same guy who, by the way, I've told you the story. He survived the COVID thing because he smoked. We were expecting him to go first, but he's still alive. And um, I did the same thing every day. I went to the same job every day. I fought the same evil administrators every day. For 20 years, it was just like that's just who I am. And then I started looking at YouTube, and I got this thing with Joe Dispenza about how you can change by changing your thoughts, by changing your habits, by changing. But that's where we are heading now. We are realizing that we are not a fixed thing. I am not, this concrete block that goes, that gets. I am all about XRP. I am all about MAGA. I'm a MAGA person. That won't cut it for very long, because the current of change is so strong that if you find yourself in one place for very long, you're going to get swept off your feet, like the reed that's stiff. When the tide comes in, it just breaks. Whereas the flexible piece of eelgrass in Long Island Sound, it just goes with the flow, man. It's all about continual, constant change. And things are, I don't think we're ever gonna get the big announcement. World War II just ended. Um, you know, whatever. The Titanic sunk. The Japanese invaded Pearl Harbor. None of that, because we see reality now. We understand that the Japanese didn't attack Pearl Harbor. It was the deep state using the Japanese in some weird way to perpetrate another satanic ritual, like XRP riddles. Yeah, okay, but don't with the XRP, man. I mean, it's trivial. That it's trivial. It's trivial. XRP is trivial. It's a great thing, but it is not the be all and end all of existence. It's not. Either is silver, or either is being a millionaire. It means nothing. What means everything is the ability to change all the time. That is really what mastery comes down to. I'm stealing a phrase from another tradition, but being a wave dancer. A wave dancer. You could do this, you could do that. You could do this, it doesn't matter. I mean, you might think, one might think, might even have the thought, like, why am I building this house in the desert every day? Why am I doing all these carpentry skills when I'm such a smart dude? But the fact of the matter is, I love doing the carpentry, and there's nothing wrong with working with your hands. It's creative. There's nothing wrong with change. If I had a gazillion dollars from XRP, would I hire somebody to do this work? No, hell no. I enjoy it. Why would I might get a helper once in a while, and I still might get a helper once in a while, even without being a multimillionaire. But the ability to change, to not fixate on one thing, like I'm going to be a multimillionaire because of XRP. Who gives a shit? What does that even mean? What are you doing with your life? Who are you helping? What are you creating? Are you in the now? Are you with yourself? Are you drifting off with this fantasy nonsense? You're going to be an XRP millionaire and everything's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay if you don't work on yourself. If you don't know who you are, it's trivial. You love it, and it's all that matters, right? But here's where we stumble. Like, I'm thinking to myself, God, if I had held on to my silver, I'd be a millionaire now. I'd be a millionaire. Then the thought comes to me, what are you talking about? You have you are you are living your dream. Do I need to would I trade what I have now to get my silver back so I could be a millionaire? And I go, wow, I'm a millionaire now. Fuck no. I'm on the land. I now have a well. I have my own water. What would you rather have? A million gazillion dollars or a well? Right? I mean, listen, I'm programmed too. I'm thinking like, wow, I should have hold my silver. No, I got a well, man. I got my own well. I have solar panels. I have a meat full of a freezer full of meat. I have a beautiful young lady that lives with me. I have Starlink. Would I trade all that for to get a suitcase full of silver that's worth, or all the XRP that I lost through the years? Would I trade it all to go back? No. But this is what I mean. We have to be quick on our feet to be able to change on a dime, because this revolution, this evolutionary process that's taking place before our eyes is not going to announce itself. It's not, the forms are gone forever. We're not going to be victimized by all this. That's what I'm hearing from Daniel R. We're not going to be victimized by the same bullshit that they put us. They locked us into this. Oh yeah, if you want to be a principal, you have to take, so I took the course. I want to be a principal. I want to be successful. And they're like, well, you can't be successful because we don't really you're not a very good teacher anyway. So, and we wouldn't hire you to be a principal. And it's just like all these like fail safes that the deep state had to keep people like me from succeeding. So I'm out. I'm out of the system, but I'm succeeding in a far greater way than I ever did back. If I was a big YouTube success right now, and I'd be like, hanging out with Joe Rogan and those people, would I be a better person? Would I be happier? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it matters. But anyway, that's just that. But you can take it with you when you're dead. So better. No, I don't go that way either. No, I'm not. No, I'm sorry to be critical, but it's not about that. It's not about how much what you. No, it's about living the life you want to live. About not being a slave. About not believing the lies that you tell about yourself. Well, I'm a millionaire, so now I don't have to worry. That's like, what does that have to do with anything? Are you a nice person? Do you understand? Can you, can you? What are your qualifications? That is different for everyone. Land is gold. Yeah, land is gold. Listen, I got it. I got the land. Um, whatever. But what I'm not talking about this in order to say, I'm better off like this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that my mindset, having been brought up by these creepazoids, is like, well, but you're not a millionaire, you know? Like that's what makes you. But those wrappers, those boxes, those little houses or big houses are meaningless now. I mean, isn't it even Elon doesn't have big mansions? He just like People are buying tiny houses. They just want to be in a nice place. I'm building a kind of a tiny house. Whatever. Anyway, you do like him. Yeah, I'm not saying anything against Joe Rogan. I'm just saying, like, I, in the beginning of my YouTube career, I could have been, but that was not the time. Maybe the time will come up later. Maybe not. Maybe I'll end up herding goats. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. It'll be what it'll be. But this is where it has it's a quiet transformation, but it's huge. It is a huge transformation. I mean, people might call it going from 3D to 5D or 4D or whatever. I mean, that really doesn't mean very much. The bottom line is we're coming into the promised land. We're coming into fusion. Let me play this clip. This is a long clip. I want to play it because she really explains it well. Okay, this is a woman who really did her homework. We're all slaves in the matrix, right? But not, we're not. You don't have to be. If you're a slave in the matrix, it's because you choose to be. There are options. I've been trying to show that. I've been trying to live that. That there are other ways to live. I'm not saying that I'm completely free, and but in a lot of respects, I am. I have a well. I mean, okay. So let's go to this clip because I think it's really important. She just says it so well. Okay, let's see if we can find this. It should be up here, I believe. I've seen this one before. She like really says it in a sober way that makes it okay. So let's watch. Oh, it's 250. All right, let's watch this clip together.
TAE, the company True Social is merging with, uses a breakthrough approach to creating fusion, which they have been working on for years. The New York Times has led the media sneering. It says the involvement of Trump's company creates a huge ethical problem, huge conflicts of interest. Now, the Times has been the leader in the effort to sabotage fusion development in the United States since its inception. So what is it they're so afraid of? Fusion energy really does change everything. Its primary fuel is deuterium from seawater. Its main output is helium. It is truly clean and readily available. It releases nearly 4 million times more energy than an equal amount of oil, gas, or coal, and about 4 times more than conventional fission reactors. Its byproducts and associated technologies in lasers, superconductors, advanced materials drive innovation across the entire economy. Massive fusion power desalination can provide fresh water anywhere on the planet. Fusion-powered rockets can enable fast trips to Mars, cutting travel times down dramatically and making real colonization viable. The laser and plasma technologies developed for fusion are exactly the kind of tools you need for Trump's vision of an Iron Dome-style missile defense system, a system that makes nuclear blackmail obsolete. Clearly, whoever wins this race will hold incredible power economically and militarily. Now, put that in context with what just happened last week at MIT. Nuno Loureiro was a leading scientist at MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, a man at the cutting edge of the very technologies we're talking about, and he was assassinated. The official spin is that this was just professional jealousy, a personal vendetta. But if you understand what fusion means for the globalist financial crowd, you have to ask a different question. Was this an assassination by an enemy of the United States, foreign or domestic? So when you hear Trump talk about tariffs, cheap drugs, and rebuilding industry, don't hear it as a grab bag of policies. See the through line. He is trying to break the back of a global system that survives only by rationing energy, collapsing living standards, and telling you the future must be smaller. Fusion is the opposite. It presupposes that the human mind is the ultimate resource and that the universe is knowable and improvable. To feel
Okay, so Okay, so now we know what TAE is, right? Um, truth, whatever. Yeah, I guess that's the stock thing. No more lies and corruption, right? The evil will never go away. Yes, it will. I think it will. We will just become more conscious of it because they manipulated us away from it. I mean, according to, I think evil is going to disappear. Evil has, from a kind of a spiritual sense, evil has nothing of its own. All it can do is destroy good. Maybe it will shrink. I mean, maybe it will still exist, but I don't know. I'm old school. I mean, I spent 25 years in the Hasidic community, and they all say that when the event happens, evil will be destroyed completely, completely. But so I still hold on to that. I don't know. Full freedom, sovereignty. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key. Full, and you don't have to wait. You do not have to wait for permission. And that's what Daniel R is saying. We're so used to waiting for permission, for the license, for the teaching degree, so I can really practice my trade. Like people who go through medical school tell me medicine has nothing to do with what they teach you. Permission, license. Are you out of bounds? Are or this like the ability to fire somebody for not getting vaccinated and getting away with it. That shit's not going to go down in the new world because it will be a value-based existence. What value can I give you? What can I give you of value? If I cut a little piece of wood that fits into a piece of wall, because like the walls I'm building are not square, so everything has to be kind of like customized. Does that have value? Yeah. If it breaks the force of the wind for us inside our little perimeter um, building of what we have, yeah, it's huge. So I mean, I think I was able to express my or a point. A, it's not going to come with announcements. It's not going to be like I've been railing against the what is it, the EBS thing for years, saying it just not the way the white hats operate. If they do, great. If they don't, great. This is not about a big announcement. This is not about a colossal event. This is not even about 9/11. That was back in the day when the Satanists still had control of the planet. Things do not operate, in my opinion, in that way in the new world, because now it is not about physicality as much as it is about collective consciousness. That if we as a community can see it and believe it, it's real. We've been living the reality that we accept now is so different from Walter Cronkite telling you what happened to Vietnam today. There's no up or down. There's no clear lead. There probably are lead stories I know amongst patriots. I don't go by that. I go by what Intel creating tomorrow. What are we creating? A new world. We are here to get back to the Father, the planet, and the Mother Earth, and those who don't want to repeat the same lessons. We're also going from Pisces to Aquarius energy, completely different. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but if that works for you, that's great. Um, I enjoy listening to your common sense approach. Thank you, Pojomato. I appreciate it because listen. I don't know how I do what I do. During the day, I no longer worry about what the hell am I gonna what am I gonna say tonight. What am I think about it. Could you do this? Could any one of you do this? I don't know. I'm sure there are I wish more people would do this. Because the truth of the matter is, the only reason I'm able to do this is because I don't I don't I don't let this thing that I do bleed into my other life. Like if I got 50,000 hits on a live the other day. Did it make my day? Yeah, it did. I was really excited. It was really nice that that happened. But the next night I got maybe 1,000 hits. Did it destroy me? No, because I'm not really even connected to it in my other life. When I'm working as a carpenter with Daniela and we're building our house or we're making a meal together or we're reminding each other what assholes you are. I mean, whatever we're doing at the time, we do that sometimes. You're just like, well, why are you doing this? I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just that way. I mean, we live together 24/7. I mean, we haven't been apart in a year and a half. The longest we ever part from each other is like, I'm going into the gas station. I have to go to the bathroom. And we're apart for like a couple of minutes. Tonight, I actually took a hike by myself because I'm reacting to everything that I hear or is something I listen to. I listen to everything that people say, even if they're a complete fool. A fairly foolish person said something to me about, if you you're waiting to finish your house to go prospecting, you'll never go prospecting. Because part of the joy and the mystique of being here is like, I want to find some precious metals while I'm here. I want to find, I want to know what it looks like. I want to know what kind of rocks have that sort of thing in it. I want to be able to, whatever. Anyway, right arm, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, out of state, man, 100%. Um, Human behavior has never changed, and either has the art of war. Okay, could be. I don't know. I don't know. Well, no more lies and corruption, right? But yeah, you don't need to think. It comes natural. Right, exactly. Well, I don't really have the ability to. I think I burned out my thinking pathways by being so fearful for so many years. It's just I can't. I do sometimes think about going there. Someone will make a comment and I'll think to myself, "Oh my gosh, I haven't paid my mortgage in months. What's going to happen to me?" But generally I'm just like, "Hey man, it is what it is." Uh what is that? Yes, it's called DJT. It's called DJT stock, and I plan to buy some on Monday if I can scrape up a little money. I've been invested off and on. I had a lot of shares of his stock. I sold it all because we needed some money, and now I want to start reaccumulating because I love. I mean, if you wrote a book about a little media company or a big media company that suddenly got into nuclear fusion, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It's totally off the charts. And they're saying like Elon too with Tesla stock. I don't own any Tesla. I don't own any stocks. But oh, and here's another thing that I learned today from like a big investor, a college professor actually who teaches economics, that the stock market is not going up. It's just that fiat is going down. Just like silver is not really worth more than it was. It's just that fiat is worth less because they're printing themselves into oblivion. They're whoever they are, they're, if I don't know. We don't know how much power they still have, but I'm not willing to say it's over until certainly until the chemtrails stop. That's just an outrage, in my opinion. But I don't know what to do about it except make a lot of noise and stop. I was in Phoenix on Friday, and they were outrageous with the chemtrails in Phoenix. I mean, probably worse than up here. And I saw a guy in the parking lot. I said, "Can you believe these chemtrails?" He just walked right by me, like I wasn't. I just was talking. I'm like that. I'll talk to a stranger. I wanted to know if he knew, but he couldn't even answer. He couldn't even contact my consciousness. What he was in a different world that works through. Yeah. Um, that's why you can have an impact on people. Yeah, because I don't know how I do this. I do think about it when I'm in my other realm. I think about, am I gonna get in front of the microphone and just not know what to say? I mean, I have those thoughts. But then I think to myself, listen, man, I've been doing this for over 5 years, every night, every day, sometimes twice a day for some years. And I've always known what to say, but is it me? I don't know. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, even to accept the idea that you could be different entities during the same day. You could be this person, you could be that person. I don't know. It's just infinite possibilities right now, infinite choice. So yeah, so we saw that. I don't know if let me just see if I can. This is late for me. Let's see. I know it's late for a lot of people too. Let me just see what else if there's anything else that's really important. I mean, it's all important, but yeah, breaking news. Vladimir Putin. We are at war against Satanism and witchcraft. These forces aim to mislead people, drag them into darkness, and ultimately destroy the human spirit and spirituality. We must fight against them with absolute no tolerance. This Western banking giant sounds alarm as BRICS nations quietly exit U.S. Treasury market. India, China, and Brazil sell 28 billion of exposure in just 1 month. This is Sandman. One enduring trend is the continual fall of treasury holdings amongst BRICS nations. They're dumping it, man. They're dumping the dollar. If the BRICS settlement succeeds, it will allow for BRICS grain exchange. This would enable farmers in Brazil or Russia to sell GMO for non-GMO crops directly to China or India using local currencies, bypassing U.S. financial sanctions, and potentially creating a trade bloc with its own regulatory standards for biotechnology separate from Western mandates. That's what we need. Free trade, man. The buffalo. This is 1800s. The Great Plains of North America support the largest herbivore migration in world history. 60 million bison from Canada to Mexico, moving in herds that took days to pass a single point. Beneath their hooves, 3 to 7 feet of topsoil, the deepest, richest soil on earth. They tried to kill. President Trump making a major announcement tomorrow, whatever that means. I mean, that could be pharmaceutical, it could be anything. Let me just leaf through this briefly. Chemtrails will sterilize humanity. Well, there's a great thought. There's something. Oh, tonight is the longest night of the year. That's great for us. Nothing can stop what's coming. That is a great one, man. I love that. I got to get a screenshot. That is so beautiful. Wow, man, I love it. Okay. Um, Forgive me for my you know all right, so anyway, I think we covered the main thing. The main thing is that we are quietly transforming reality. We are quietly moving into another state of consciousness where we will be constantly changing and accepting technologies that will blow our minds. It's fusion. They've been talking about fusion for years. It's like this fantasy. They're saying someday we will have fusion. Now they're saying that someday is now. Think about it. From seawater, you'll have all the energy you need. It's amazing. Church of Hell, right? God forbid. God help us all, right, Mommy Wolverine? Looking forward to some Russian goods. They make titanium snow shovels. That's funny. We've been conditioned many times in many ways. Yeah, and we're all deprogramming. And that's really what I think that's what it's about. Currently, yeah, happy Sunday from Ohio. Cool, man. Yeah, silver's going up. I'm happy to own 2 ounces of it. I mean, but you know what? Whatever. This is what I have to accept. I have to just say, hey, man, it's not about, don't look back. Just keep going forward. Do not be like Lot's wife. Do not turn into a pillar of salt. We love salt. We eat Redmond salt. We also, we are basically carnivore, and we do intermittent fasting. We usually don't eat our big meal until about 4 in the afternoon. We are thin and muscular. And oh yeah, I didn't talk about LifeWave. And we are enjoying the fruits of excellent health and continued youth with the LifeWave product. So I'm going to play the inventor again, the inventor of the LifeWave product in 1 minute. You'll just hear, this is an older video, but you get the idea.
Stem cells are the future. As a wellness company, we needed to be part of the stem cell revolution. And with X39, that's exactly what's happened.
That's David Schmidt, LifeWave's founder, CEO, and inventor of X39, his latest breakthrough in what is wearable, virtually weightless technology. What does X39 do? It harnesses light to elevate a copper peptide proven to activate stem cells.
We're bringing regenerative science to everyone, and we're doing it safely and inexpensively.
This is cutting-edge science with no competition that's safe, affordable, non-invasive, and drug-free. With over 80 clinical studies behind it and multiple worldwide patents protecting it, the science is settled. The list of benefits using our products is long. The market's vast.
I've never seen anything like this in 21 years of being a doctor, anything coming close to doing what this technology does for people.
Okay, so yeah, that's let me just it's it's light technology. Let me just explain what that means. Okay, it does, because Peggy was saying, like, well, how do you do light technology if you're wearing clothes? How does well, it's your own light, that your own light is reflected back at you, and it activates a copper peptide. Copper is, I'm investing in copper now. I'm very wowed by copper. I have about 100 feet of 4, big, thick. Do I have my copper thing around? But, copper is the future. Silver is the future, but silver is already out of my league. But copper is still affordable. It's 35 cents. Anyway, it reflects your own infrared light back through your skin to activate a copper peptide. That's X39. There are all these different patches. Daniela and I are we're constantly arguing over, do we need yet another patch? And the answer is always yes. There's a glutathione patch, there's a carnosine patch, there's X49, which makes you a muscle man. And it's all non-invasive. It doesn't put anything in your body. It just reflects your light back into your body so that your body can heal itself and stay younger, produce stem cells, reorganize, replenish, go back and reset your DNA. This is an amazing technology. So please join us with this, with our pursuit to share LifeWave with the world. When the med beds come, the med beds will come. But in the meantime, I want to stay young. I want to be able to go out and spend a day fixing my house, putting up a roof, putting up a well house, connecting pipes, doing electricity, hanging out with my girl, going for a hike. She told me, I went off prospecting for like an hour. It was too dark to really see anything anyway, but she's like, you're going without your gun? I'm like, okay, I'll take my gun. I didn't see any creatures, and I'm really not afraid of much. But yeah, it's good to have a gun out here. I mean, we're we're quite remote. And but anyway, I'm going into another thing. But I invite you to try the LifeWave technology to see if it really. I mean, it's not a quick fix. Not all people feel it instantly, but it is transformative. It is an amazing technology. Don't try to wear the X39 at night. At least for me, I cannot sleep with this stuff on. It's a 12-hour on, 12-hour off. So you have to respect your body. You got to let your body just chill a little bit sometimes. It's an amazing world we live in. Can you believe this kind of technology exists even? Can you believe that Trump's stock now includes nuclear fusion? I mean, you can't, I mean, as Rush would say, you can't make this stuff up. This is off the charts, unbelievable. Seawater, man. They're gonna, free energy now. But this is, the world is changing in a very quiet, beautiful, quiet way, and that's the key to, I think, to all this. We are all quantum energy, and we're about to move into the quantum field of Aquarius, which is all about technology that has been hidden from us. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, all good. Looking forward to Russian, third dimension to the fifth. Yeah, we're doing it. So let me play my let me play the Matrix song just because I think it's appropriate. We're leaving the Matrix, heading to the promised land. Nuclear fusion. A media company is now talking about media. Eventually the banks are going to implode. It's happening. The BRICS nations are rejecting all the treasury bonds. It's just, when is it going to happen? It's happening now. You could be getting ready now. If you have extra money, just, XRP right now is below $2. It's a great time to buy. If you haven't bought any, buy some. Become active. Become a partner in creation. Get some LifeWaves. Try intermittent fasting. Try a carnivine, more fat-filled diet. Try staying away from traditional medical chicanery. I mean, this is the time. Our last fourth dimension Christmas, right? From Saturn to Mars. Yeah. Quantum entanglement with your higher self. That's a beautiful thought, Wade. I love that. All this stuff, man. You guys are awesome. I love you. I love you all. And thanks for letting me do this, man. I mean, my life wouldn't be the same if I didn't have this broadcast. I'd just be another billionaire up now. another wannabe millionaire in the in the upper realms of Mojave Desert. It's great up here, man, and there are infinite possibilities. I could do whatever I want up here, and especially now that I have some water, I could even take a bath. All right, so let's see. Let me go to my my thing. Let's go here.
Living in the city, I was paying down my bills. One flat tire and the whole thing went to hell. Credit cards for groceries, I'm deep in debt again. It's time to split this scene, walk with you, my friend. Leaving the Matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the Matrix, leaving the Matrix. heading for the promised land. Stopped paying taxes, your insurance I don't need. The medicines are killing us, hospitals grow like weeds. Moving to paradise, I don't need no gassy cars. Fake news, endless wars, a satanic legal bar. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. My friends all tell me I lost control. Left my wife and job just to run down rabbit holes. But I can tell you one thing about my fall. Where we go one, we go all. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land.
Yeah, nothing is impossible. Richard, come on, man. You love your wife. Don't even think about it. You wouldn't be you would you know we all get exactly what we need when we need it. So nothing is out of the it possible. You can choose whatever you want. I mean, I am just totally blown away. Richard, I got my well, man. It's working. I just have to like get all the gizmos, all the right plumbing gizmos together. But we're man, I mean, we've been trying to get this well together for a long, long time, man. We've been up at a year and a half. We've been trying to get the well thing happening for at least a year. And now it just finally quietly came in, just like the transformation of the planet. It's going to be individual, it's going to be collective, it's going to be quiet, but extreme. It's going to be so extreme that DJT stock is going into into fusion, which was what happens at the sun. Patches are all about light. It's all about light. It's all about love. It's nothing can stop what's coming, and it just enjoy it. My message tonight, or our message tonight, is that it doesn't have to come with a big announcement. It's just happening. It is so happening. All right, so may the force be with you. May you realize that you are the force. Nothing can stop whatever you want, whatever you think about. Go listen to Joe Dispenza till you're blue in the face. He'll tell you all you got to do is change your thinking, change your habits, and anything is possible. Even you could even You could even podcast if you're like a shy person and you do a shy, you know, you can't really relate to it during your regular hours. You're like, I'm doing what? I don't know if I can do that, but don't even think about it, man. Just go for it. Go for the gusto. May source be with you. May you realize you are Neo. You are a creative source. You are the one, and it's all up to you. The choice is yours to do whatever you want to do. So let's get out there with a big smile on our face. God willing, I'll see you. Tomorrow's Monday. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll try to do it at the same. I'm shooting for 7 o'clock my time. That's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to get to some kind of schedule. I'm sorry I've been so loosey goosey, but we're now that we have a well, maybe I'll be able to contain myself. So let's get out there with a big smile on our face and